Okay, we are live. Good to see everybody. Looks like the audio is working this time around. Hopefully you can hear me and see me okay. Good to see everybody. It's now Saturday, May 27th, 2023. It is 10:02 a.m. Pacific time here in Las Vegas, Nevada. How's everybody doing? Another live unboxing as things are coming into the studio fast and furious. So we're going to start getting these things in and out of the door, of course. This time up, we have the ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 11. So you might be asking, well, what do I have what's on the table here? This is the Gen 10 from last year. This is the Core i7 1260p, I believe, again, 28 watt CPU. This, of course, is the 30th anniversary edition. We've seen this one before. This one is a limited edition of 5,000 made. This one has a 1270p, right? So this one, pretty good. It's got a 4K display here, 4K plus, I should say, 3840 by 2400. So I just wanted to show comparison. Something pretty interesting this year. We have the Gen 11 in the box right here. We'll get it into the stream in a moment. The reason I want to, and let me take off the music, we don't need it. The reason I want to show you these are P series. Now, according to the press material, we are getting a P version of the 13th gen, right? 28 watts. I believe that's going to be 1370p, I believe. And that one is a 14 core processor this time around. But what they're promoting here, and I think they're pretty much saying in a lot of ways, go with the U series processor, and I think that's what they sent over. Again, I don't know, we're going to get it out of the box, but a U series, which of course is 15 watts, makes a lot of sense. And I was thinking about it at first, well, why wouldn't they send me the P, right? The P series. And then if they would have started thinking about it, it starts to make sense because performance-wise, yeah, the P series will definitely do a lot better, but the U series will do better on battery life. It should run cooler and be a little bit more efficient, right? One of the knocks, I think, against the X1 Carbon of last year, at least, was the fans would come on. It would run pretty hot, I guess. We'll take a look at it, of course. And as I love these devices, don't get me wrong, I like the fact that it now has the option for a U series, although maybe it was offered last year. I just don't remember. But the U series does give you better battery life, and that's been the history we've seen so far. So I just wanted to have these on the table here. We got a first super sticker of the live stream, and that's, of course, Mr. Rainbow Loves Coffee, a nice $20 super sticker. I do appreciate the support, as you have always done so far, my friend. I do appreciate it. Okay, so now let's put it on me for a second. Just a couple of things to get out of the way. Make sure you put a Q before your question. That helps it get spread out over YouTube. Make sure you do hit the like button, the thumbs up. That does help it get spread out over YouTube. The algorithm likes that kind of interaction, that kind of engagement. So it might offer it to more people. So that will certainly help support the channel. And as you just saw from Mr. Rainbow Loves Coffee, you can do a super sticker, super chat, of course. That would, of course, get you priority. And, of course, we have the memberships on a monthly basis. So with that being said, let's say hello to a few people. And then as they're filing in, we'll get the new one onto the stream here. But let's take a few comments and questions. Let's say hello to a few people. And let's say hello to William, our moderator. Good to see you, our good friend. We've got Guillerme here. We've got Magnus. Hello from rainy Trondheim, Norway. Good to see you, my friend. Stay dry. This is the first time watching for Balzas, and I'm glad you're here. Welcome. All right. Hello to you, my friend. Is the Carbon still the best laptop for business out there? Is it the best? We're going to find out, Steele. I got a good one that I've been testing for the last 24, 48 hours. And that, of course, is the Dell Latitude 9440. I did my battery test. It's really, really good. We're going to talk about that in the upcoming video. But we're going to concentrate so far on these ThinkPads, the new one we have here. All right. Really excited for this. Drishal, Mr. Shahid Hossein, glad to see an unboxing. Good to see you. And, of course, we said good hello to Mr. Rainbow Loves Coffee. Oderlin, is the 1355U better than the 1260p? It just depends. Look, you're going to get better performance out of the P series. It's a 28-watt CPU. There's no doubt about it. But you have to ask yourself, on a thin and light portable, what is most important to you? Because the U series will certainly give you enough performance to do everyday tasks, to be productive, Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, but it won't run as hot. It won't. It will last longer, all right? And these are some of the things we're going to need on these ThinkPads, right? Because we have the great keyboards, we got the great build, we got all that stuff, but we have to see how that's all going to play out. Good to see Steele from New York City, all right? And then hello from France to Shukrallah, and William Triumph is here. All right, so let's take these off of the table for now. And I love this 30th anniversary. By the way, I've been using this 30th anniversary edition for the last few months, obviously, and I absolutely love this. Now, the other difference is this is a 4K plus display. I didn't see an option for 4K plus IPS like this has, which is beautiful. It's a touchscreen, absolutely gorgeous, great coverage of the color gamut, really color accurate. They do offer a 2.8K OLED display this time around, and that one, of course, is less resolution, but I think that's a good thing because 4K plus on a 14-inch might be overkill. Although I love this 30th anniversary edition, limited edition here. All right, we'll put this to the side. And here we have the new one. All right, so this is going to be, I think, a U-series processor. Again, I'm taking this out of the box. I don't have much information on this. I believe this is going to be the Full HD Plus resolution. Again, I'm not crying over that because I want to get as much battery life and to run it as cool as possible. So I'll take it because the Full HD Plus I have on that Gen 10 last year was really good. So I'm not really worried about that. I want to get as much battery life. I want to get as much efficiency and cooling we can out of this. So we'll see. All right. Okay. Yeah. Go for dinner. Enjoy your dinner. Mr. Rainbow Loves Coffee. We'll see you later. Catch the replay. All right. Let's put it on here. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, let me show you the specs. I know you want to get this out of the box, but I do have the specs here. And as you can see here, this is and again, I don't believe they sent over the 2.8K. I believe this is the Full HD Plus 1920 by 1200, and that's okay with me. Intel 13th Gen Raptor Lake comes in either a U series or P series. I believe this is going to be the Core i7 1355 or 65U. I don't remember. We'll have to take a look at it when we get it out of the box. We've got, now here's another thing. You can now get this with up to 64 gigabytes of RAM. That's something new this time around. I believe my unit either has 16 or 32. I don't know. We'll have to take a look. You can go up to 2 terabytes of SSD storage, PCIe Gen 4. 57 watt hour battery, optional 5G or 4G, depending on which one you choose. I don't believe this one has it, but you can get it as an option. Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.1 combo. And then, of course, as we move into the next panel here, if it ever gets there, you'll see here that it does come in at 1.12 kilograms, or at least starting at that, which is 2.48 pounds. Full HD plus IR camera with computer vision, webcam, privacy shutter. Hopefully this has that. Again, there are different models, of course. And then it does have a fingerprint sensor. And again, we'll get into the ports in a moment. Now, starting price, $14,459 over at Lenovo's website. And if you go over to CDW, which I can show you here, let's move this over here. You can get it at CDW. I didn't put a link yet, but I will. This is the model I think they sent me. So this is $2,085. And again, business, commercial focused laptop, not cheap. They tend to buy these in bulk, corporations, and they do get discounts, as you know. So that is the specs and pricing of this unit. So let's put it on here. And without further ado, let's get this out of the box. Okay, let's check out the power cord, or power adapter, I should say, before we get everything else here. We got your power cord right there, as you can see there. Okay, and then we have should be a 65 watt adapter. Yep, it's 65 watts, as you can see it there. Okay, and it uses the USB Type-C as a connection. So we've seen this before, pretty compact, also pretty decent. Okay. We get some documentation here. Some documentation, warranty information, yada, yada, yada. No big deal. Leave that there. And there she is. Okay. So right off the bat, you can see right here, we have the basic black on this. But of course, if you go with the 2.8K resolution option, you do get that carbon fiber weave. We have it on the 30th anniversary. I can show you in a minute. This one is beautiful. And again, these are hard to keep clean. We've seen this before. They do collect a lot of fingerprints. Now, you can see on the bottom here, and as I switch cameras here, you can see that this is a carbon fiber magnesium materials that they're using. I believe there's some recycled materials used here. I like the access in the inside. I believe the RAM is soldered in, so don't get too excited. Again, the new option here is 64 gigabytes is going to be an option. All right, so let's get a weight on this before we open it up. So let's turn this on. Okay. All right, now it's at 0. It's on kilograms. So let's put it on there. And I'm seeing 1.166 kilograms. And if we convert that over to pounds, it's going to be 2 pounds, 9.1 ounces. So again, if you want to see kilograms here, again, 1.166 kilograms. Now, travel weight, let's put this on here. It brings it up to 1.472 kilograms. And that is, as far as pounds are concerned, 3 pounds, 3.9 ounces for those that are wondering. Okay, so that's the weight and all in. All right, not too bad. Again, very travel friendly. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can open this with one finger. We always, of course we can. What was I thinking? Now, I don't know if this model has the, and you can see it here, the IR camera, although some of them do. I know my 30th anniversary does. We'll take a look at this. I think it might have it because it has that extra camera module there. So we'll take a look at that. You got the fingerprint sensor right there. Okay. So, and here's our ThinkPad keyboard. Let's give that a listen. I never get tired of that. Now, some people have criticized it's not quite the same as it was a few generations ago. I still love this keyboard. It's still one of my favorites out there, if not the favorite. I love typing on these ThinkPad, especially on the X1 Carbons. I absolutely love it. Now let's take off this sticker. Again, we know that this is going to double as the power button is going to double as a fingerprint scanner. Okay, let's take a look real quick at the ports here, and let's switch over to this camera. All right, so we have two Thunderbolt 4 ports. They're both USB Type-C. You get your full-size USB-A port. I love that. And then you get an HDMI. Now, we'll take a look in a moment. Let's see. We'll bring that up in a moment as far as which HDMI they're giving you. Hopefully, it's the 2.1, but we'll see. It might be 2.0B, but we'll take a look at that. This is a 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack, another USB-A port. Love that. And you get your Kensington lock. Now, of course, if you go with the optional 4G LTE or 5G, depending on which modem you go with, there will be a nano SIM card slot. If that would be also there, of course. And then here's a nice close-up of the keyboard deck. And again, this is the carbon magnesium combo here. And I love the build quality. It's got the military standard rating that it's underwent. It's really good. So that is pretty good so far. Now, I will take your comments and questions in a moment. We have 98 of you watching. Let's put it back on this camera for a moment. Now, let's actually take a look at this display here. So one of the things I love about it is, of course, this is a touchscreen display, but it's also a matte display. So I don't get a lot of that glare, a lot of that reflection we see. Again, commercial-based laptop, you love to see that. Now, I have had this on the Gen 10 last year. I absolutely love the Full HD Plus option here. And I think for most people, this is the one you want to go with because this is going to maximize your battery life, right? So there's the back of it, and here you can see the beautiful Full HD Plus display. It's 1920 by 1200. Now, again, there's a 2.8K OLED option. Again, that might be overkill for some of you. Again, I want to see battery life. I want to see good cooling efficiency. I don't want to hear a lot of fan noise. Those are the things I want in a thin and light. Of course, you don't always get it. We'll find out. We'll do all the testing and so forth, and we'll see how that's all going to work out. Now, we have the touchpad, the physical mouse buttons. That's always worked out pretty well. You have the track point, of course. That's been a hallmark and a staple of these ThinkPads for years, obviously. And you get two speaker grills there, and it's got Dolby Atmos over here, so that's going to help with the spatial audio. I've always liked the speakers on the X1 Carbons. I think they're pretty good, and we'll see so far how this is all going to play out. Good to see Digital Slang here. How are you, my friend? Hope you're doing well. And so the other thing you want to know is that this can go back 180 degrees. If you can put it back as far as there. Now, people might say, well, what do I care about this going back 180 degrees? Well, the thing is, it's going to give you a pretty good viewing angle each and every time, right? So being able to go back, you can bring it up a little bit, up a little. Yeah, you can do whatever you want, right? And guess what? Hardly any screen wobble. I don't see any screen wobble. The hinges on this are fantastic. Love this keyboard, by the way. All right, so this is where we are right now on this. Let's take a few of your comments and questions. Yeah, I think it's a good port selection. No SD card slot. We didn't have it last year. We don't have it this year. I want to check out something here. So let's go to the ports. I just want to see here. So let me pause that and let's bring that on here. So two USB Thunderbolt 4 ports, as I showed you. Two USB-A ports, love that. Headphone mic combo. Oh yeah, like I said, HDMI 2.0B, optional nano SIM card slot, no SD card slot. So for those that want that, unfortunately, you're gonna have to use a hub or a dongle or whatever. But there you have it. That's what that is. All right. So this display, let's see. Let's turn on the display a little bit. So looks nice and bright. Okay. I believe this is a 400 nit display, but again, I'll have to double check that when I do my measurements. 1920 by 1200. It is a matte display, as you see here, which I love. I love the fact that it is a matte display. Let me make sure it's on the correct. Yeah, it's on the correct time zone. Right now it's, let's see. Yeah, it's correct. So we're in the right time zone. Let me connect it up to my dock here, my Thunderbolt dock. And now it's getting power. Okay, let me put it on me for a second. I want to connect it up to my network. Love this keyboard, people. All right, that's connected up. All right. Now, what we can do, and again, I want to check a few things here. So let me put it over here, and I can put myself down there. I want to see if... which camera this is. So if I go to the settings here, and then we'll look at the processor and all that. Let me go to the accounts. And let's see, sign-in options. Yeah, so this is an IR camera. We just have to add a password. Okay, that's good news. All right, last year they sent me one that didn't have it. Obviously, the 30th anniversary did have it, so that's good. All right, let's go to the system specs here. Let's take a look at this real quick. And as you can see, 13th gen at this time, obviously, 1355U. It's a Core i7 1355U. That's 10 cores, folks. That's 8 efficient cores and 2 performance cores. And this has 16 gigabytes of RAM, although you can get an option, apparently to the press material, to 64. Now, here's the other thing. When I went over to Lenovo's website, I didn't notice where I can get a P series. So that's the other thing. If you go to the link, I put it in the description below. I think they are offering the U series right now. I'm going to find out from my rep over at Lenovo when you can get that 13th gen P series, that 28 watt CPU option. I didn't see it over on their website. It might be a little bit early. I don't know. I'll let you guys know. But having said that, I think the idea that they're going with a U series is the right one here because we want better battery life and we want better efficiency, right? Jamal is saying, I really hope they fix the battery life and heat issues the Gen 10 was plagued with. So I think that's a conscious decision to go with the U series and push that. Although, again, like I said, according to the press material, there is a P series offered this year. I didn't see it at their website, at least not yet. According to Scorpio 896, what will make or break this model is the cooling. If they can maintain performance without throttling, then it's a winner. So that's the $1 million question, right? Can they get this thin and light chassis to cool enough, to be efficient, to dissipate the heat, but while at the same time giving you good performance? We're going to find out. I think the U series is the better balance here because it's good enough for performance. It's certainly for the user that this is targeted towards, the business executive on the go, the one who needs a little bit more longevity to be able to do Microsoft Office, email, web browsing. You don't necessarily need the high-end display, the high-resolution display. I think this Full HD Plus will certainly get the job done. So yes, Martin, the website says 32 gigabytes. I agree. I looked at that too. Then I looked at the press materials that were provided. Up to 64. When I looked at this, I believe it was back in January or whenever they showed this off. I had a little bit of a brief time with it, obviously. And they did tell us one of the highlights, hey, look, we're now offering 64 gigabytes. 32 is not the maximum. But again, it may just not be offered yet. So I'll let everybody know. I'll reach out to my rep over at Lenovo as we have 103 watching. All right, so those are the specs here. You can see it there. Now, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I believe this is going to have, let's see, as far as the drive is concerned, we're looking at a 512 gigabyte SSD drive. Okay, so that is user upgradable. Now, let me load in. Let's go over to, and of course, I have to sign in. Let's sign in without the data. We don't need this. Let me go over to Geekbench. Hopefully, we can get it without having to restart, because Geekbench 6 has really been, buggy, as how we know. All right, so Geekbench, let's go to Geekbench. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. And let's download that. And so far, by the way, you can see this is a touch display. I don't believe there's any pen support on these. But I love the fact a matte touch display. You don't have to worry about the glare. A lot of these other laptops come with this Gorilla Glass. It's glossy, it's reflective, but that's because they have to put this touch layer. Not here. This is a matte display. It's got an anti-glare coating on it, which I like. Of course, you see, of course, I have a lot of studio lights. You will see glare, but there you go. All right. So let's see, that's downloading now. So while that's doing that, again, you can look at it from the side angle here. And again, I love this basic black. So let me bring over here. So if you do go with the 2.8K OLED, now this of course is the 30th anniversary. This is the carbon fiber, right? So the carbon fiber weave, a little nicer than the basic black, of course, if you go with the nicer high-end display option. Last year, this was a 3840 by 2400. And of course, this was a limited edition. This is number, and I can tell you the number here. If I can see, my eyesight's so terrible. This one is like 25. This one is 2641, I think, if I can see straight, out of the 5,000 made. Thank you for that nice super sticker from Fawad, $5. You got it. Thank you, my friend. I do appreciate that. All right. So again, if you go with the 2.8K OLED option, you're going to get this carbon fiber weave, as you see on this 30th anniversary. You don't get this throwback. Obviously, this is a limited edition logo throwback. You're going to get a more standard logo, as you see there. Okay. So that's that. All right. And then, of course, you can see the top down there, right? So again, this is nice, this carbon fiber weave. They both collect fingerprints. That's the one thing I got to say. Now, I can tell you the oleophobic coating has been better, seeing a little bit less than years past. But of course, it's just inevitable. So you will carry a cleaning cloth with you. It's just it's a lot better than it used to be, folks. But you will notice a few fingerprints here and there after some time. There's no doubt about it. Okay, so let's, and we can just leave this one over here, just as a reference. So this is loading in, and let me load this in Open Geekbench. Now we could load in the ThinkPad, the ThinkVantage app first, obviously. I want to see, and as that would load that in, I want to see, and I'll have to lower the scaling down. It's a little too big for my liking. Let me go to the power settings. It's in the intelligent cooling. So let's make sure, if we go to the power and sleep settings here, that this will be on the best performance. Okay, so it should be controlled all in the windows through the intelligent cooling. So that should be fine. And let's leave this up because I know sometimes it's a little finicky. I don't know if this is going to work, folks, with the Geekbench. We'll see, because we've had a few issues over the past few months, actually, a couple of months, as we have 106 of you watching. As we're loading in Geekbench 6, we don't want to see that message again. Let's say later. So let's go to the CPU and let's run this. And again, this is U series this time around, right? So U series means you're going to get 10 cores. This is the Core i7-1355U, 8 efficient cores, 2 performance. Now, next to this is the one from last year. This is the 30th anniversary. This is the Core i7-1270P. I believe this is 12 cores. That's 8 efficient cores for performance. Now, the one that they're offering with the P series this year is going to have a Core i7, I believe up to a 1380p, I think, or 70p. I think it's 70p. I don't know. But that one has 14 cores. So that one will have 8 efficient cores and I think 2 extra performance. So you have 6 performance cores. Wash your hands with Dawn. You're not kidding. Hey, Andrew, what's the key travel on the new X1 Carbon? So I don't know if, do they list the key travel? Let me see. Let me go to the tech specs here. So what they're telling, and I believe it's a water resistant keyboard, not waterproof, but water resistant. So let me go to Control F here. Let me see keyboard. Yeah. So spill resistant. It doesn't say the key travel. So I don't know if it's 1.3 or something like that, 1.4 maybe, 1.2, I don't know. Spill resistant, glass trackpad. It's 110 millimeters or 4.33 inches. It has a backlight, obviously, white LED backlighting, air intake key. So it does have the air intake keys, right? So that's always appreciated. Hopefully that'll be good. This is the deep black, and then this is the carbon weave, the carbon fiber weave. All right. Okay, so we have 61 likes. Do me a favor, hit that like button, as we have 106 of you watching. All right, so, but I can tell you it's very comfortable to type on, right? So I really like these keys on this. All right, now, let's see what's going on over here, as we have a lot of stuff going on, folks. And again, I just started my testing on the Latitude 9440. I did my battery life test. I will save it for the video, but I got to tell you, really good battery life. They've really done a good job on that one. I'm loving the 9440 2-in-1. That would be a good comparison to the other laptop that I have in the ThinkPad line that they sent over, and I'm going to do a separate video on it. It's the X1 Yoga Gen 8. And I'll compare that to the Dell Latitude 9440. I think they're direct competitors as far as these business-focused, commercial enterprise-focused 2-in-1s. All right. Okay, so hopefully we'll get our score. And I do hear the fans starting to come up here. I think it might be one fan. I don't remember. We'll open this up. This should have the captive screws. Should be easy to get inside. And again, I don't know. Yeah, see there? We're going to have to restart it. So let's restart this. And let me put it back on me for a second. Sometimes what happens is it's not the laptop's fault. It's Geekbench 6. There's some kind of bug that when you run it the first time, it doesn't work. You have to restart it, and then hopefully, maybe it may even take a couple of times. I really am curious to see it, but we'll get that. If not, we'll move on to the next benchmark, and I'll show it to you, obviously, in the upcoming review. What's the key travel we talked about? I don't know. I think, can anybody look it up? It might even be 1.3. I don't think it's 1.5, but maybe I'm wrong. But some people have knocked it, not being as good as previous iterations. I can tell you I am a fan of it. I do like it. I still prefer to type on this type of keyboard. Now, the new Zero Lattice keyboard on that 9440 2-in-1 is really good. How is the noise over the benchmark? I don't know. We're gonna test that. We're going to test that in a little bit. I do have my decibel meter on my watch. I also have my thermal imaging camera when we run it over. We'll get some measurements when we do the Cinebench R23. We'll do a 5-minute modified test just to give you an idea. Now, of course, I do have my Lenovo mug here in commemoration of all this. So there you go. You know, as far as that clamshell, Aaron, I'm not sure actually, because I see that there's the 2-in-1. I don't, like last year we saw the 9340. I believe it had an option for a clamshell and then the 2-in-1, if I'm not mistaken. This time I only saw the 9440. I'll reach out to my rep over at Dell to get some more clarification on that. So I don't know if they're reducing the key travel year over year. I think it's the same key travel. In fact, I can tell you right now, this is the Gen 10 chassis, although this is the 30th anniversary, of course, that worked really well. Okay, so I can do a little bit of a test here. Let's test the keyboards. You know what? I think this one is a little bit better. Let me see something. Hold on. I think this is slightly better. They may have done something here. Again, slight, because this is still good, but maybe they did improve it. I don't know. But a slight improvement, I want to say. Again, I just took this out of the box. I'll have to use this a little bit more to give you anything definitive. Yeah, I'm going to have to test Linux on this. Yeah, that's one thing we're going to have to test. All right, so let's try it again. Let's see if we could do Geekbench. If not, we'll move on. I won't spend too much time on this. We'll move on to the next tests. All right. And again, for those joining us late, this is the Gen 11. We just took this out of the box. We're running a U series processor, which I'm not crying about. I think it's a good decision. We want better battery life. We want better cooling. With better efficiency. And of course, this is last year's 30th anniversary edition of the Gen 10. This has a P-series processor, 28 watts. All right, let's run the CPU test there, and let's see what's going to happen. Question from Adriano, better keyboard X1 Carbon versus the XPS 13 Plus. So that's the Zero Lattice keyboard on that XPS 13 Plus. I really like it. I still have to give the nod to the ThinkPads. I think the Carbon, to me, has the best. And I know some people, and like I've said, People have said it's not as good as it used to be. It's still better than most laptops. Now, having said that, the XPS 13 Plus keyboard is one of my favorites. Below this, of course, but it's still up there, obviously. I still prefer this keyboard in the end of the day. And I think people are going to do coding. I think people who are going to do any kind of extended work needing to type are going to appreciate this keyboard a little bit more. Not to say that not to say that the XPS 13 Plus keyboard is not great. It is. And in fact, it was one of the biggest surprises I took out of that. So Linux should work fine on this. Okay. We'll have to test it. All right. So this is running the not the Cinebench, the Geekbench 6. Hopefully we'll get a result. If not, we'll move on from it. And you can see what's going on over here. This may have Ubuntu or Fedora workstation pre-install option in upcoming months, generally 6 to 9 months after release. Okay. Good to know. So the only thing, according to Lexus, that this baby is missing is the AirJet Mini, the new solid-state cooling system. Okay. What's the size of the battery? I think it's 57 watt hours. I think that's the same as last year. But the big difference, again, this is running a U series as opposed to a P series last year that we looked at. So I'm expecting better battery life. I'm not expecting as good as performance. I think the 12th gen P series should perform better than a U series, even 13th gen. So according to William, at the end of the day, every user will have their own options of the keyboard differences. Still, both are excellent and will get the job done. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, and again, a lot of this, and I think William's correct, a lot of this is personal preference, right? Of what what one person might find very pleasing and really satisfying. Another person say, oh, that's shit. That's great. That's crap. And, there you go. So it's just a matter of what you consider good. I mean, again, it's all subjective. So the chassis is identical to Gen 10 and Gen 9. Yeah, so this is Gen 10 right here, and you can see it right there. Gen 10, Gen 11, I think Gen 9 also. I don't have Gen 9 here, I don't think. But Gen 10 is the same. It's the same. Now, one of the things with the 30th anniversary, they did give you some different colored track point tips that you can, nubs on there. I went with the blue, but there's a green one, there's a red one, obviously, and I think, what are those, the colors? The red, and there's the blue right there. So that was a little bit different, something a little bit special. I did a video on it. I should probably link to that at some point. Hello from Namibia. How are you, my friend Mutenda? Nice to see you. So see, we didn't get the result here. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. We'll try again later. Let's move on. Let me load in here, and you can see what I'm doing over here. Let's do, and it's not this laptop's fault. It's Geekbench 6. We've had this issue for a while now. All right, so let's go to these benchmarks. Let me load these in. Now, it is a touch display, and again, I can show it to you here. See, it does have touch input layer. And of course, what I love is, again, matte displays here. And you can see this is a 4K Plus from last year's anniversary edition. This is, of course, a Full HD Plus. Now, this is a little bit more glossy. You can see it, actually. But not too bad for a glossy display as well. Now, they do offer this in a 2.8K OLED, obviously. So that is another option you can go with, as we have 114 watching this time around. Again, I didn't see the option for the P series. I know the press materials harped on there is a 13th gen P series 28 watt CPU option. Just don't see it. Blue is for the Dell Latitudes. No, I just like to put different ones. I actually had the green on a little bit earlier. I changed it to the blue. No, it has nothing to do with any preference. I like them both. You know that. In fact, that Latitude, like I said, that Latitude 9440 2-in-1 is so good. In fact, let me put it on me for a second. It's been really good. Might be one of the best business laptops of the year. I want to compare it to the one I just took delivery of. Again, we'll do a separate unboxing and video on the X1 Yoga Gen 8. Okay, that is the 13th gen. That also has a U series, although one difference is that one does have an option for, I believe, a 4K Plus option, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'll have to double check that. So there are some updates that need to be run here. So let me put it back on here. And there are some system updates. I shouldn't run those now. Let me do this though. I want to check out the camera on this. We're going to do that right now. Let me go to the camera because this does have the IR camera on this. So that means you can log in with face recognition. Yeah. So now we have the effects here, right? So you can see some of the studio effects. Let me wipe this down to make sure. Hold on. Let me just give me a second here. Sometimes when you, and I love the physical shutter switch, but sometimes these get a little dirty when you're handling the lid and so forth. Okay, so let me go back to the camera here. Hold on. I can get it working here. Okay, there we go. Boom. Okay, there. We'll do the updates later. All right, so this is the camera. And as you can see, there's automatic framing. So it's got the studio effects. It's got the creepy eye contact feature, as we've been seeing a lot of these. And then you have the black background blur. Actually, a decent job of the background blur, I guess. Now, let me put it on this camera. Hold on. This is last year's on the anniversary edition. Now, one thing missing on the anniversary, I don't see the studio effects that we get on this one. So that's one thing I noticed. Let's make sure it's clean. And I think that, and here's the other thing that I think is different. So if you notice here, you can sort of see there's three things here. There's a camera here, two camera modules there, and then one over there. This has two of those over here. So is this the computer vision and this is just a standard IR? That's my guess. I don't know. Let's see if I can show you on here. This is last year's. So you see how they have three little circles there for the camera? There you go. You can see it there. You can see three there. And then on this one, it has two. So this might be the computer vision. I don't know if that's a little different or not. Let me turn off this background blur. But it's a pretty nice camera. I got to say, pretty good. It's going to be good for your Zoom calls, your Skype calls. I like having all of the studio effects at your fingertips. That's pretty good. Although I love that collaboration touchpad we just looked at on the 9440. One little nitpick a little bit, I guess. I'd like to see it available in other platforms as far as just limiting it to Zoom for now. I'm assuming that Teams is going to get it. I'm assuming maybe Google Meet, all that will get it at some point. But that's just one thing. So these are the two different cameras. I mean, these are year to year. So they look pretty good. Okay, camera, the colors look good. I think everything looks pretty good. All right, let me turn off the cameras here. I'm glad I have this 30th anniversary to show you because Gen 10 really brought a lot of good stuff to a lot of features again, but I think going with the U series might be the way to go. All right, let's get a benchmark here because we can't get Geekbench to cooperate as usual. So let's go to the Cinebench R15. It's just a quick one we can do, and then we'll do the 5-minute modified R23. Okay, so that will certainly help us. Camera looks good according to William, but the image looks a little less than sharp. Okay. My lights are really, really bright here. You just keep that in mind. It might throw it off a little bit. I don't know. I'll test it, but I think it's certainly good for what you need it to do. But again, I'll have more on that very soon. And of course, I'll test the mics. All right, so let's open this. So again, this is going to be 12 cores. This has 12 cores, right? So 1355U, why does this? Oh no, this is Cinebench R, it is 10 cores, folks. The Cinebench R15 sees the extra threads as a cores for some reason. When we look at the other Cinebench test, you'll see that it is 10 cores. And let me just double check that. Yeah, this is 1355U. We've seen this before. It's 10 cores. So don't go by what Cinebench R15 has to say. So don't spam the chat, my friend. Okay, I saw this. Ayan, don't spam it, please. Thank you. If you do it one more time, you're gone. And I don't think you care, but don't ruin it for other people. Just because you want something reviewed. And stay on point. You know, we're doing the ThinkPads here right now. Why would you want me to? I mean, it is Lenovo, it is Yoga, fine. But why would you bring that up during a ThinkPad unboxing that people have been waiting for? So just stay on point. I don't mind answering, just stay on point. I'm a little grouchy today. I like Lenovo, don't get me wrong. But people, please stay on point. Do me that favor. Okay. So stuff is happening in the background, that's for sure. See, the screen went blank while we're running that. So I think what's happening is these are updates that are running from Lenovo that will have. So again, anytime we get something new out of the box, we just have to take whatever we get a grain of salt. Look, it's a firmware update right out the box. So let's let that run. That should be a couple of minutes. But let's keep going back with your questions. And Ayan, don't test my patience, okay? So according to Alexis, thanks for the keyboard comparison. Regarding the Dell XPS 13 Plus, do you think Dell will release a 15-inch version in a couple of days during Computex, or is it unlikely? I think we've seen everything. At least I haven't heard anything. I can tell you that right off the bat. Do I think the XPS 13 Plus will a 15-inch version? I don't think we're going to see that. Never say never. I have not heard anything. Is there some reason why you are asking that? Are you actually asking for a Dell XPS 15 Plus? Is what you're asking for? That I think we'll see next year. Yes, I will review it. I will review it. I'm just waiting on Lenovo. So I don't know anything that the concrete. There's nothing that I was given as far as a 15-inch version of the Plus. So just stay tuned. You never know. You never know what they have in store. Again, they're not telling me. So I don't think so. Now, I'm not going to Computex. Now, a lot of companies ask me, am I going there? I do have something lined up for next year, I think, to go as far as a sponsor. It's a big trip to go to Taiwan. I'd love to go. It's a dream of mine to go to Asia and so forth. But I'm not going this year. It's a little too late. And maybe next year, we'll see. So this firmware update is running. So again, like you said, we're doing this live, but I'm glad to see it. Lenovo's pushing out these firmware updates, updating the drivers. That I like to see. They're really good at that. So that's really good. For those joining us late, this one over here, and you can see it here, is the anniversary edition, the 30th anniversary edition. This is a number 2600 or so out of the 5,000 produced. And I want to thank Lenovo for sending that over. It's really special, obviously, this one. But this is the 10th gen, right? And I'm noticing the keyboard may be slightly better on the new one. So we'll see. Again, these are just some initial impressions right out of the box as we wait for this firmware update to come in at the most inconvenient time. But what it does show you, again, like I said, it does show you that Lenovo is updating these drivers. They're updating the firmware, and you like that. No screen flex. Did you notice this? No screen flex. Very good, especially when you're typing. You don't get that screen flex. This is last year. This is this year. Not bad. Look at that. Pretty firm. Great hinges on this. And again, it goes back 180 degrees, as you see there. And then, again, for those joining us late, this is the, what do they call this black? The deep black. This one is the carbon fiber weave. Again, anytime you go with the higher end, the OLED display that they're offering, this is the 4K Plus from last year, IPS, but this has that carbon fiber weave on the lid. This one has the what they call the deep black. Okay. Don't worry, it's coming. I'm sure it's coming. They've sent me all their other stuff. We had the Lenovo Yoga 9i. That did okay. And then I did the Yoga Book 9. I am reviewing that now. That's pretty interesting with those dual OLED displays. I'm having a lot of fun with that one. So stay tuned. That review is coming the next few days. All right. So no problem, Ion. But let's stay on point, right? Let's stay on point. We've got the ThinkPads here. So let's just keep it on point tonight. All right, so it's right now, we're approaching 50 minutes. We've got 101 of you watching. Good to see everybody. If you're not already subscribed, do me that favor, hit that thumbs up. Also subscribe because I got a lot of stuff coming. You like to see it. I'm the first, pretty much one of the mainstream reviewers to get this. I didn't see anybody else get this, but I could be wrong. And I'm also one of the first, if not the first, of the Dell Latitude 9440. The Dell team sent that to me. So again, that did very well, that unboxing. So I have a recorded video on the way. I just my testing's underway. I did the battery test. Did really well on the Modern Office battery life test on the PC Mark 10 right there. So it's good. So Gabriel in Best Buy found one Asus Book with the new i9 13th RTX 3050. Is there any? I don't know what you're talking about. I appreciate that. Gabriel, I don't know what you're talking. What is that? Connection in the specs? I don't know what you're saying there. And again, stay on point. We're talking about ThinkPads right now. Do you have the Lenovo 14 Plus or the Lenovo 16 Plus 2023? No, I don't have them. If they send it, I'll get it. I'll review it. How bad is it in terms of attracting fingerprints? So, good question. See, I like that question. The jet black, or whatever they call it, or the deep black, this one does collect fingerprints. Although, again, the oleophobic coating that they're using has gotten better. The carbon fiber weave, you can see a little bit on the top there. Again, they've gotten much better, but it's not totally fingerprintless or totally fingerprint proof, which I don't think it exists, all right? It's just the color, right? So, and having the carbon fiber and all that, that certainly plays a role. All right, this is rebooting, so it looks like that firmware went through, hopefully. And then we can get back to business. Maybe now we could run the Geekbench. Should we push our luck? I don't see McAfee on here, so I don't know if the ghost of McAfee is rearing its ugly head. So we'll have to see. But let's take a look here. So this is rebooted. Is it me, or does this look like a different wallpaper? Or maybe I just didn't notice it. I don't know. I got a lot of things going on. Stay on point. DJ Chuck Norris or Nuck Choris. I like that. Love your reviews. Looking forward to the T14 and T14S. Yeah, hopefully they'll send that very soon. So a lot of stuff coming. This is the first of the ThinkPads, folks. I also have the Yoga 9, the ThinkPad Yoga Gen 8 coming. I have it here already in the studio. These came together. I wanted to do them separately, give them their due justice each, the due deserves each. So there you go. All right. So let's try. I'm going to try it. I can't help myself. I'm obsessive compulsive. I got to see if this Geekbench will work. It's going to bother me now. All right. So hopefully that'll load in anytime this century. All right, so let's run the CPU, and hopefully this will give us a score. Let me open sometimes this helps when you open the Edge browser for some reason. Same wallpaper? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So I just thought maybe you know what it is? I don't know, because this one over here is running the dark theme. This is running the light theme. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Maybe we can switch it over later. But this is the way they set it up over at Lenovo. So according to William, with all the different models and brands of laptops you mentioned, it gets confusing after a while. You're not kidding. You're not kidding. And we have a lot more stuff coming. So, keep that in mind. I'm balancing, and I'm doing research on all this stuff in between. So I got to find out what I have, what's going on, what was announced, the little nuances. So there's a lot to keep track of. And when you're doing 3, 4, 5 reviews, simultaneously balancing and juggling, you get confused. Sometimes I'll give the wrong information for one laptop that was for another laptop, so it gets a little confusing. Beautiful machine. The quality materials and screen are excellent. I love this laptop. I do too. I think it's, one of my favorites. The X1 Carbon over the years has been one of my favorites. It does very well on the channel. The popularity is clear. Their following is clear. Very, very loyal, obviously. And I like it. Do you think that you'll see a ThinkPad with a dedicated GPU and slim like the Lenovo Slim 7 Pro X or the XPS 15? So we do get the X1 Extreme, right? The X1 Extreme would be Gen 6 this year, right? So hopefully we'll see that. Or if you want to go to the workstation, the P1 would be the other one. Those have discrete GPUs. Hopefully we'll get that, right? Now, I've reviewed every other iteration in the years past, so hopefully we'll get it soon. So the X1 Extreme Gen 6, I believe it's up to this time around. I've always loved that. And that will compete with the XPS 15 for certain. They are definite direct competitors. So we'll definitely have to see what that. And I think on the HP side, the HP Elite, the Envy 16, I think competes it. Although I think for some reason, I think that's a little less than the XPS. I don't know, as far as quality, but I think they do a really good job as well. All right, so this is running. So just to put it into context, I ran Geekbench 6 earlier on the 30th anniversary edition. Let me bring that up. And let's see. This is a P series, and I just ran it real quick, so I don't know if I had everything updated. But this is what I got, and this was 8635. This should be in the 9,000s. I'm going to run that again, and then 2217 on that score. I want to see what this will give us. Hopefully we'll get a score in here. I had to run this a few times and restart it because, again, Geekbench 6, when you first load it in, for some reason doesn't want to cooperate. And hopefully we'll get our score in the next minute or so. And we'll see. If not, we'll move on. Oh, look at that. We got our score. Thank you. And not bad, right? Not bad. So this is 13th Gen U series, 8515. And this was 8635. It actually did better on the single core. You can see it here. So pretty nice, pleasant surprise. So I'm glad we reran that. So very, very good. And that's U series, folks. This is not P series. So sometimes having that extra performance or the extra wattage is not needed because this is 13th, this is 12th. That also plays into that. All right, so that's good. All right, we got that done. So we can close this. And let's go to Cinebench R15. We downloaded that earlier. And we got interrupted by the firmware update. And maybe the firmware update did something really good here, actually. So let's run the OpenGL. This will test the integrated Iris Xe graphics, which I'm not expecting. We already know the story on that. Anywhere from 80 to 100, right? We're going to see on the FPS on this. So that's running. We've been consistently over 100 people concurrent here. That's great, people. Looks like there's a lot of interest, and I think the timing is good. We did this last week with the Yoga Book 9i. We had a really nice turnout. We have another great turnout this time around. So we may make this a habit. The Saturday morning stream might be a permanent thing. If this keeps up, we'll do it. A W stream, a win for the stream, yes. Okay. So pretty good, 113. That's a little bit better than I expected. All right, let's run the CPU test. This will be real quick. Again, this is the 13th Gen Core i7 1355U. 10 cores, 8 efficient cores, 2 performance, and we're talking about 15 watts of power. So again, P series would give you 28 watts of power. That's the difference. And you get a couple of extra cores on the P series as you would have over here, at least on the, say, the 1360p or whatever. Okay, looking at the CPU choices, according to Arnold, what's the difference between the i7 1355U and the 65U. So the 65U would be V Pro, a little bit higher clock speed. This is the non-V Pro, right? So this is the 55U. I don't think for most people you're going to need that extra V Pro. It's a few extra features that are security features, and again, a little bit higher, just a slightly higher clock speed. But I think on everyday use, you won't notice the difference. And here we get our score, pretty typical of what we'd expect for this CPU. All right, so I took my screenshot. Hopefully that answered your question. So this one does not have V Pro. Now, if this one over here, the anniversary one does, okay, just keep that in mind. All right. Do I think we'll see an AMD powered? Oh, that would be great, but I don't think we're going to see it, to be honest. Now, the Z series, obviously the Z13, the Z16, Lenovo worked in close collaboration with AMD on that, and I'm looking forward to getting Gen 2 into the studio. Okay, so stay tuned. That is as far as we're going to get as close. And I know that T series has, AMD offerings. I just don't see it on the Carbon, but never say never. Hopefully at some point they'll reconsider and do it. Maybe they do have something. You never know, except I just don't know about it. We don't know about it. If I hear anything, of course, I'll let you know. So this is now, extracting rather the Cinebench R20, and then we'll do the R23, and then we'll test the speed of the SSD. We'll do R23 5-minute modified test, and then we'll probably open it up, and then that'll be the live stream for today. Again, I'll have to test this display. The display looks good so far. Here you can see it next to this 4K Plus, and both of these are pretty nice. Now, I expect better battery life out of this, not only because this is a lower resolution, but it also has a lower wattage CPU, the U series as opposed to the P. But this is absolutely gorgeous. They're both touchscreens. This is a glossy, but it has an anti-reflective, a really good anti-reflective coating. There's an anti-glare coating on this, but it's also a touchscreen. All right, so let's open this up. I love doing these live streams when I'm not too tired, and this is actually working out pretty well. We had a good turnout today so far. So this is running. See, it says 10 cores there. So whenever you see R15, which is an older test, obviously, but it's a quick test to run. But this is also a pretty quick test. This is showing 10 cores, 12 threads. And this is really testing the CPU, right? So this is testing that i7-1355U. So when we run the Cinebench R23, I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to bring out my decibel meter on the watch, and I'll also bring out the thermal imaging camera, which I have here somewhere. I have it right here. We'll test the thermals on it. Just a quick and dirty, just to give you an idea. Again, I'll do my full testing, full, putting it through its paces as I normally do for the full review. All right. And I'm seeing the keyboard is really good. Now, again, maybe it's just, maybe I'm hallucinating, but I feel like it's a little bit better than last year. But I could be wrong, because I think physically, I think they're the same. I think they're the same as last year. Looks physically the same, but the difference, of course, is just, it seems like a little bit better travel, but maybe it's just me. But I love these keyboards. Maybe I'm partial to them. Now, like I said earlier, I am in the middle of reviewing the Latitude 9440 2-in-1 from Dell. And that one has a really nice zero lattice keyboard. And the other thing that has is a micro LED backlight that supposedly gets you a little bit better battery life. We'll see. All right, we got our score here. Let me take my screenshot. Okay, 2778, about where we'd expect with this processor. All right, so let me download. We've already downloaded it. Let me just unpack this one. Not this one. What am I doing? No, let's go back. This one. We want to test the SSD. Now, this one has 512, but of course, we could always upgrade it ourselves, as I'll show you when we open this up in the last segment of this live stream a little bit later. Let's run this. This is a 512 gigabyte. Now, what we want to see, with PCIe Gen 4, anywhere from like 6,500 to 7,000 on the reads, and then anywhere from like 4 to 5,000, maybe 6,000 on the writes. So looking good so far. We got a 6898. That's a good start for a 512 gigabyte SSD, PCIe NVMe Gen 4. But we'll see what the write is. And while that's running, for those joining us late, I did put up here the specs. And then again, we don't have the 2.8K here. I didn't see the option for the P28 or the P series 28 watt CPU, but that is what has been announced on this. So, and they're also announcing up to 64 gigabytes. This review unit has 16, but 64 gigabytes is also something new. I think it was capped out at 32 last year. And we have an IR camera this time around as well. Last year, the first one they sent me, not the anniversary edition, but the first one did not have the IR. That was an option for the higher end specs. And here you could see you could pick it up over at Lenovo's website with a starting price of $1,440. Maybe we'll price this one. Although I did see it at CDW over here for, as spec'd out here, $2,085. So $2,085.99 over at CDW. So for those wondering. So that's the specs there. And while this is running, I will want to tell you that this live stream is also made possible by Best Buy. So this is Memorial Day weekend, folks. So head on over to the links below. Best Buy has some great deals. I think you can save up to $500 on certain Windows laptops. I picked out some of my favorites. And again, with Memorial Day weekend here in the United States, you might get some excellent savings. And I found some of the good deals. I saw a combo deal on the Surface Pro 9 for $999. It had the keyboard cover, it had the Surface Pro 9 in the different colors. So the link is there. I saw Surface Laptop Studio. I saw a ThinkPad, the L13 for like $599. It was a 2-in-1 convertible. That was a pretty good deal. I saw gaming laptops. Again, check out the link in the description below. And I want to thank Best Buy. I've teamed up with them once again to bring you some great savings. And again, if you go through my links, it certainly helps out the channel. I get a very small commission, but it does help support the channel. So check it out. Again, links in the description below. And I want to thank Best Buy for sponsoring and helping out here today. All right, with that out of the way, this is giving us our score. 44.93, I'll take it. So this is a good score so far. So Charlie Sachs is saying, every time I've investigated a new iteration of the X1 Carbon, I found people believed it was shipping with various different feeling keyboard parts. You know, that may not be untrue, actually. So that might actually be the case. Maybe you are getting different keyboard parts. Maybe it's just a matter of what they can source. I can tell you they've been pretty consistent on the ones at least they sent me, but of course I'm getting review units. But I do notice here, you know, just real quickly, this is the last year's, but I do notice on this one that this keyboard, which I think is still one of the best, if not the best, has a little bit different feel, and it feels really good, actually. So I'm actually happy with this. You have the touchpad, of course, the track point, and everything we know of that. And then, of course, you get the anniversary edition from last year. I'm very fortunate to have that, obviously. And I changed out the button. Again, you can have the different colors that they sent over, little something special. But the keyboard, keeping on the theme of the keyboard, I think it's really good. I mean, I use these for any time I have like long documents or I'm on a travel business trip. I like to take these Carbons with me because they really offer a lot of benefit. The only thing I would like to see is a little bit better battery life, and hopefully with the U series this time around, we'll see a little bit better battery life, a little bit better cooling, less fan noise than the P series. We'll see. We'll see. This is just about done. Let's give it a few more seconds. So Arnold was going to ask the same question and Googled it real quick. I found that Lenovo has never offered AMD on their X1 laptops. And I get this question quite often. When is AMD going to be offered in the X1 Carbon? And like I said, I don't think there are any plans that I am at least aware of. But the good news is they do offer them on other ThinkPad lines. Like I said, the T series offers AMD and they're very solid. But the one that they're working really closely, as I mentioned earlier, the Z13, the Z16 worked in close collaboration between Lenovo and AMD. And I actually love those laptops. I've reviewed both of them. I did the Gen 1s. I got didn't get a hands-on with Gen 2, but I did speak with Sensel, who is now responsible for the touchpad, complete touchpad, not just certain parts of it. They are doing 100% of it this time around. I did meet with them. And I can't wait to check out Gen 2 when those are released. All right, we have our score here. The reads and writes are good, so I'm happy with that. All right, so I took my screenshot. So finally, let's do the R23. And this one, I'll do the modified test, so we don't have to spend too much time on it. And then we'll open it up, right? And then that'll pretty much do it for the live stream today. As we have 111 of you, we've been consistently over 100 today, so I want to thank you for everybody showing up. And again, help out the channel, hit the thumbs up. That'll get spread out over YouTube. We have 98 likes. We just need 2 more to get to the magical 100 likes. So why not hit that like button? Do me a solid. And of course, super stickers, super chats. We've had a few of them already today. I appreciate that. Memberships always help out on a monthly basis. I'm doing this by myself, people. I do have a couple of people that I'm bringing on, testing out at least for the time being. And hopefully we'll produce even more. I'm at a rapid pace right now. A lot of things coming in fast and furious into the channel. So any kind of support certainly helps. I'm doing the job of a team here of like 5 people, at least 5 people. And I'm like a machine here. I'm pushing this out to you. Quality content is what I strive for. Really on-point reviews, pinpoint reviews. Sometimes I get a little long-winded, but they are complete reviews. You cannot tell me that they're not complete. So literally been wondering the same. It would be great to see them offer AMD CPUs in this flagship laptop. That would take this to the next level. I wouldn't argue with that, right? I wouldn't argue with that. Okay, so let's open Cinebench here. Okay. Now, of course, I still have to test the display, all the metrics. I have to test the battery life. You know the drill, people. But this gives us a little bit of an idea right out of the box, not just a tip. I should probably call these unboxing plus, right? Because you're getting a whole lot more. So actually, my unboxings pretty much have what other people consider what they quote unquote full reviews. Mine have even more than their full reviews, my unboxings. So you just could imagine, right? So it's just the way I do it. I probably give you too much in the unboxing, to be honest. I just can't help myself. But it's just the obsessive compulsive nature of me, but I want to give you as much information to make the right buying decision, especially when you're buying these in bulk for your fleet. You know, say you're the IT department or you're the purchasing department of these companies. You need to have the right information, right? And I need to try to get it to you in a clear, concise way and very quickly, right? So, and then of course I want to get as much views as I can. So I want to be first. Why not? If I get it, I want to be first. All right. So just got the 10 last week, Gen 10, watching this live on it. All right, Juan Carlos, very nice. Oh, actually, I'm running the wrong test. Let me stop this. I was running I forgot to put, see, I'm getting distracted here. Let's go, sorry about that. Let's go to the preferences first. Let's make this a 5-minute test. Because I added on the original 10-minute. And then if we go to advanced benchmark, here we can now do custom 5. Now we can run it. Okay, now we can run it. All right, getting back to this. Okay, glad you got it, Juan Carlos, with your Gen 10. We have the Gen 10 right next to it. This, of course, is the 30th anniversary edition. I do have the other one here as well. Now, this was the Core i7. Again, you can see here, this has been used, right? So this is the Gen 10 with the Full HD Plus that they originally sent last year. I held on to it just because I wanted to compare it to this one. Greetings from Brazil, to Tech Tessio. All right. Hope I said your name right. Tassau. Okay. And here you can see it's been used. Full HD Plus. This is the 1260p. So P series, 28 watts. Again, problem with this is going to be battery life. Problem with this is going to be the fan noise, right? So we want to see U series a little bit more efficient. And speaking of which, let's put this to the side here for now. And let me bring out my camera so we can take the thermals and test the fan noise because they are going right now. So let's do the fan noise first. Now I'm going to put on the other microphone so you can probably hear it a little bit better. Okay, so we're about 45 decibels in the performance mode under heavy load. So not too bad, but it's definitely noticeable. I think it might have been better than last year, but I'll have to double check that. 45 decibels. All right, now we have our super sticker from Arnold Vales. All right. And that's $20, my friends. And that is a very generous super sticker. Thank you for really, I do appreciate it. All right, let me bring out the thermal imaging camera. See how hot this thing is getting. And just telling you right off the bat, it feels warm a little bit in the middle, but we'll have to take a look at it. Not too bad, but we'll see. Let me turn that on. Let me get my Galaxy Z Fold 4, which I use that to take my videos of the thermals. While that loads in. And I like to do it during the Cinebench R23 because it's pushing all the cores and the multi-core here. So this is a good opportunity. All right, let's take a look here. This is in the 50s over here, so a little bit warm there. So about 58 by the heat venting over here. This is where the heat comes out of. So about 58, 59 over there. That's centigrade or Celsius rather. Okay, pretty good so far, and I'll talk more about it, but not so bad. So about 58 by where it's plugged in. So not too bad. Again, I'll have to compare it to what I had last year. But off the bat, I can tell you the U series seems a little bit cooler, and it might even have a little bit quieter, although it did reach 45 decibels in terms of the fan noise. So just keep that in mind. But as far as just feeling it, not hot, not really that hot on the underside here. A little bit over here where the heat is coming out of, but that's where the fans are dissipating the heat here, or the fan. I think there might be just one fan. I don't know. We'll have to take a look. I forgot. But anyway, we'll have more to say on this in the upcoming review. All right. So with the Lenovo, what's this question here? Let's see here. From Trevor, with the Lenovo Yoga Book 9i having two OLED displays, Lenovo should offer a Snapdragon 8cx Gen 3 for amazing battery life. Well, here's the problem with the 8cx Gen 3, and I took a look at it with that Robo and collar I did. Not all the applications are going to work. Some of them do. Obviously, they've made a lot of strides over previous iterations of ARM processors, but not all of them are going to work. Yeah, you'll do better on battery life, although that was not an issue. I did run some battery tests already on it, and I'll have that in the full review. That wasn't an issue. I can tell you that it's got 80 watt hours of battery there. So that's pretty good. And I'm seeing over, I think I'm seeing over, I don't remember, was it 12 hours? I don't remember. Definitely over 8 hours, that's for sure. I'll tell you more about it in the upcoming video. So let me see what I had there. I probably have it here somewhere. So the Yoga Book 9i, I ran the Cinebench, not the Cine, the PC Mark 10, the battery life test somewhere here. Yeah, 11 hours and 20 minutes. That's what I saw on that Modern Office battery test. That's with both displays. I think one display was in the notebook mode. I'm still testing the other where both displays are going full blast and all that. We'll have that coming up. All right, so let's see. This is going to give us our score in about a moment. Let's get onto that camera there. And then we'll open it up. We might do the single core. We'll save, I don't know, we may save that for the upcoming review. So 5466. That's about what I thought. And again, I don't know if this is thermal throttling. I'm going to have to do my TimeSpy stress test. But this is what I expected on this. Again, this is the difference between U series and the P series. P series will probably be in the 8,000s or so. This is 5400 here. Let's do real quick. Let's do the 5 minute for the single core. I'm curious to see how the single core, which is going to be good for everyday use, how that's going to do. And again, what the Cinebench R23 does is it checks for throttling, power throttling and stuff to maintain cooler speeds and so forth, or cooler temperatures rather, and lowers the speeds. But, and again, I'm not surprised. Again, the U series has its benefits, one of which I think is going to be better battery life, and it's going to be a little bit more efficient in terms of the cooling and staying a little bit more cooler. So we'll see. But again, when you have a thin and light chassis like this, there are a lot of considerations, thermal considerations that have to be taken into account here. All right, so according to Arnold, he bought the T14 Ryzen 7 based off my recommendation. Okay, hopefully you're okay. If this gets better battery life, I'll give it to you, a family member, and hate on you for doing such a good job with your reviews. Okay, Arnold, we're not done here. We still have a lot more to do here. But, you know, whenever you go to a thin and light laptop like this, you're going to sacrifice something, whether it be having to deal with fan noise, battery life not being so great, or having to go to a U series as opposed to a P series to lower the wattage, again, to get better cooling, better battery life, and all that stuff. The X13 video editing is nearly impossible with the Snapdragon, so I hope this will be better with the new iterations. Right, so that's, again, you got to understand, what is that ARM processor, the Snapdragon 8cx Gen 3, offer, right? So that's supposedly going to give you better battery life, but it's going to give you, I would say, the equivalent of a 10th gen Core i5, maybe. I think that's what we figured out. But when you're using it in real world, there are some applications that still don't work on ARM, just not optimized, and this, or it may just not work at all. I've ran into a few of those benchmarks, although it has gotten better. But the other thing is, again, you're not going to be doing high-end video editing on it. So just temper your expectations. Go into it with a knowledge that not everything is going to work, and make sure when you do buy those ARM-based processors that it is something that will work with applications you use on a daily basis. If you're just doing web browsing, email, office work, Microsoft Office, stuff like that, you'll be fine. Watching movies are going to be fine. But if you're going to do, 4K video editing, that's not the platform for that, right? I don't think it was meant for that. That was meant to be a great travel device, as a secondary device, a companion device that gives you great battery life and able to get the job done, right? So that's at least theoretically what it allows you to do. Maybe the ACS Gen 4 will have some real competition for how much they hyped it up. We'll see. I think what's the other? Project Nuvia is the one I'm waiting for, although there are some legal issues, I think, that are surrounding that. That's holding that up. But we'll see. All right, so this is working on the single core score here. Is this better than the T14S Gen 4? So it just depends, right? That one might come in less money, maybe. I don't remember. I haven't looked at it in a while. But, it offers you great port selection. That's going to offer you a lot of what this offers, but may have better thermals. And it also offers it an AMD variant. So, it's just a matter, do you want an AMD processor, right? Again, you're not going to get the X1 Carbon with an AMD processor. Looks like the stream is holding up pretty well. All right, so we'll do this and then we'll open this up. Let me get some of the coffee here. I don't want to make it too long today as we're already at an hour and 24 minutes. So this will be the last part of that. And let's go to some of your questions. So YouTube Ogo Pogo 25 is watching this on the X1 Carbon Gen 8. All right, keep up the great work. Greetings from Germany. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And like we said earlier, Juan Carlos Gomez Tagel just got his Gen 10. Watching this live on it, I am happy to see that. Okay, so what we can bring out, let me bring out the Dell Latitude because I want to show you the difference. Again, they're competitors somewhat. I think the Yoga 9i, the Yoga Gen 8 might be a little bit more of a competitor. Give me a second. And I'm loving this design on this one as well. So this is also commercial based, but again, you can see the fingerprints on this graphite, this all metal design. Let me wipe it down. Whenever I feel like I have to fill in some time here, it's always great to bring in a competitor or something. But here's a zero lattice keyboard, right? So these two are going to be offered by companies. Battery's low. Let me get the battery. Let me get the. And I love the fact that they have two over here, USB Thunderbolt ports, USB-C, one over here. Although no USB-A on this, we have two USB-A on this. Greetings from Guinea. All right. Mamadou Kamara. All right. And this is beautiful. This is a QHD Plus display. I'm really liking it. The battery life has been great. Now, by the way, just while we're waiting on that test, the pen does work. I wasn't sure, remember, during that live unboxing. So it does use it. I'm using a Lenovo pen, believe it or not. I do have a Dell pen here, but I had this one handy. But they didn't send one over. But for those wondering, it does use it. It does work well. I'm using my right hand, even though I'm left-handed here. But very good. Now, this keyboard is really gorgeous. You can see it here. This is the Zero Lattice keyboard, and I'm having a really good time with this in terms of typing. I like it a lot. I'm liking it a lot. It took a lot of the design cues from the XPS 13 Plus. I thought it worked out pretty well. It has the two Thunderbolt 4 ports here, one Thunderbolt there. No USB-A port. They do give you an adapter in the box. Now, this is that collaboration touchpad. I showed it in the video. It works right now only on Zoom. So once you open a Zoom meeting, you then get the row of icons, these capacitive or virtual icons, or whatever you want to call it, that allows you to turn off the camera, allows you to share your screen, allows you to mute the mic and so forth. Excuse me. And that really is something I'm liking a lot. There's a fingerprint also magnet here as well. So that's the Dell Latitude 9440. I'm really, really liking it. The pen does stick magnetically. I do have a pen here. It's not charged, from the XPS 13 2-in-1, and it's this one. Yeah, so the XPS 13 2-in-1, I think this is it. This, in fact, I think this should stick magnetically. Yep, so it does stick magnetically. I just didn't charge this one, but just to give you an idea. Okay, so that'll for those who had any questions. And again, I just did the battery test on this. It looks really good. So really, really, if you're at a commercial enterprise laptop and you're considering this, maybe check this one out as well, although I love the ThinkPads as well. The X1 Yoga Gen 8 that I have as well will compete, I think, directly because of the fact that they're both convertibles, pen, so forth. So that is something you might want to consider. This is the comparison I was waiting on. Okay, Aaron. I can't wait for Lenovo Slim 7 Pro X update with a new AMD CPU and NVIDIA 4000 scores. Now, Trevor, I didn't hear anything. And from what I understand, that the one I did was the Yoga Pro 7 was 7 Pro, I don't know, whatever I just did was the replacement for the X, is from what I understand. So I don't know if they're making a new X. I think we already looked at it, but again, I could be wrong. You want the 7000. You want the one with the Zen 4, I would imagine, as well. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe you know something I don't, but I haven't. They have so many different models, it's hard to keep up. All right, we have our score here, and it is 1588. Pretty much what we'd expect. Again, I'll do my test for thermal throttling, all that. So that will definitely be on the agenda. Let's turn this off, and we'll get out our iFixit kit, and we'll open it up to close this out. Let's just shut down without updating. All right, so let me take this off of the stream here, and then let's go here. All right, so let's unplug this. What's my preference, the X1 Carbon or the 9440? I don't know. I like them both, to be honest, but I'll have to see. We may do a head-to-head. Again, I think the 9440, since it is a 2-in-1, at least the one I have, that one will compete directly with the X1 Yoga Gen 8, which I have here. We'll do a separate video. So hopefully these are captive. I believe they're going to be. Love that, so I don't have to worry about losing them. And there are only 4 of them. Oh, wait, I missed one right there. So there's 5. Didn't see that one. Don't want to do what I did with the Yoga 9i, remember? That's how easy this is, folks. Very easy. Okay, let's put that over there. Boom. All right, let's put that to the side. And what the hell is this? Must have come out the fan when I opened that up. Look at that. It was like sticking out. Anyway, I'm sure it's fine. All right, so we got the dual fans here. I don't know why that's now sticking up a little bit. Look at that. I think did I just do that maybe by accident? Anyway, maybe I did that. So coming up a little bit there. We have the SSD there. We got the 57 watt-hour battery there. The optional 5G, I think it'll go one of these places, I think over there. But the RAM is soldered in. As far as the wireless, I think it's also soldered in right there. So let me do a close-up. There we go. Now, I think maybe when I opened up the lid, I might have done that, but I don't remember feeling anything because I think I was over here, not over there. Maybe the glue or something is coming up. I don't know. See, let me show you. See? I don't know. I don't think it's an issue, to be honest, because once the lid is on, everything is smushed into place. All right, let's there it is for the video. Let me lower the camera a little bit. Hold on. There we go. All right, now that we have that, let's put it back on. Okay. Hopefully everything is working. Okay. Good thing we opened that up. Okay, that was kind of weird though. But remember, I didn't do this screw first. I mean, I missed this one, so maybe I did that, but I don't know. I'll have to ask Dell about that. Not Dell. Well, I'm asking Dell. Lenovo. But very easy to access this. Now, I just wish the RAM was upgradable. There we go. Everything is now. Just make sure everything snaps into place. Hopefully it'll turn on. Yes. Whew. Hopefully the screen will come on and we'll be good. I was surprised they wouldn't update the 40 series with the Lenovo Sim Pro 7. Maybe that's coming later. Maybe they're waiting to that being more available later on. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. All right. Looks like everything is perfect. I mean, although that was kind of weird. All right. So, folks, it's been a pleasure. I don't know if this should do it. I think we're now at, let's see, an hour and 35 minutes. Yep, it's time. So let's cue the music. That's a bite of applause for the moderators. I think we only had one today. I think William was here today. That was it. Great job, William, as usual. And great questions, great interaction with everybody. I want to thank everybody for showing up. We had a really good turnout once again, and I look forward to putting it through its paces and bringing you the full review. That is coming very soon, people. I have the 9440 here. We're getting that review done. I have got the dual OLED craziness of that 9i book that I've been working on. I'm almost done with that. Got big-ass monitor from HP, two giant monitors from, well, one giant monitor from Dell, and that 6K monitor from Dell with a 4K display on it, a 4K camera. Anyway, got a lot more coming. See you next time, folks, and have a great rest of your weekend. Also, in the United States, celebrating Memorial Day weekend. Have a great Memorial Day. I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.